Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, I think we can start. Okay, nice. Let me share my screen today. So, Mani, you are okay with all the installation, right? Uh, you can able to the login, you can able to start the database, everything, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. So today, what I was explaining yesterday, let me share my screen. Right. Okay, let's quickly revise what we have done yesterday. So we have a file structure in the database. We have physical and logical file structure. So whenever I come to the physical, the files which are all visible from the OS level, the files which we can access through the OS level, those are called physical files. That means we can see them, we can able to see them physically. So we have the physical files called control files, data files, online redo log files, parameter file. So these are the 4 files which are mandatory to start the database and manage the database. Without any of these 4 files, we cannot able to bring up our database. Okay, then coming to the backup files, what is a backup file? It's a basically backup of your entire database. It will take backup in some pieces. Those pieces will be called the backup files. Then archive redo log files. So it's a generally backup of the online redo log files. What's the use of this? So we can recover the database until the given time. Okay. And what is the use of backup file? We can recover the database. So in case of suppose any database server crash, something like that. Okay. So what is the control file? It will contain the information about the database name and size and data files location and everything. What is the parameter file? Parameter file where the actual instance architecture has defined. When I say the instance, it's about the SGA, PGA and memories, Java pool, shared pool, everything. Those memories are defined in parameter file. And also parameter file contains the location of control file. So whenever we start the database, it will first read the parameter file, then it will read the control file, then it will go to the data files and online redo log files. What data files contains? Data files contains actual data of the database. So whenever you create one table, whenever you insert the rows, whenever you insert the details, all the data will be stored in data files itself. So we can define the size of the database based on the size of the data files. Got it? Then online redo log files. So it will contain the information about recent transactions, very recent transactions, and frequently those recent transactions would be backing up to the archive redo logs. These are the major purpose of these 6 files. Then password file is something we can able to log into the database using the sys account remotely. When either sys, we have the sys DBA privilege to that account. Password file will be useful in such cases. And the temp file, I'll explain the table spaces concept. Then alert log file, where it will capture the each and every activity of the database. So whatever we face the errors, whatever we get the errors in the database, those errors will be captured in alert log file. So clear on these files?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then okay, we'll go to the practical one by one, how these two looks and everything. Then coming back to the logical file structure. When I say the logical, right, those are present in database. We can access them through the only database. We cannot access them to the OS level. Okay. Suppose when I say the table, right, you cannot see the table in the OS level or storage level. If you create a employee table or whatever it is, suppose create table T1, only you can able to access through the SQL prompt or database, right? You cannot see the particular table in OS level. Such files we call as the logical structure, logical files. So in logical, we have the all DBA objects are the logical files. Got it? All DBA objects. Whenever the DBA database, whenever I say the DBA objects, it may be the table space or tables or index or sequence or views, anything. Those can be accessible by only database. That's why we call them as logical file structure. So please remember, there is a huge difference between table space and tables. I'll explain it later, but for a time's sake, you make a note of it. There is a huge difference between table space and table. Okay, let me explain what is the difference now itself. So table space, it is a collection of data files actually. Table space is the collection of data files. One table space can contain some multiple data files. Okay, whereas table is the actual logical object that might be stored in table space. Got it? Difference. Okay. So table space here, if when I say that it's a table space, okay, it's a collection of data files. Data file 1, data file 2, data file 3, and so on. We can have the n number of data files. Okay, whenever I say the data files, what it actually do, it will actually store the database objects. So then what is the table? Table is a actual table where it will have the information in the form of rows and columns, right? Suppose if I take the employee table, it will have the rows and columns and number of rows. So the table will store under table space. The table will store under table space. This will store under table space. It's a clear difference between table space and table. Okay. Then I'll go to here. Okay, now I was telling about the table space is a collection of data files, right? There is a something between table space and data files. We call them as a segments and extents and Oracle data blocks. Basically, it's the measure of the size. Whenever I say the measurement of the size, suppose I have a 1 GB. So what is the form? What is a tree to come to reach the 1 GB? Any idea? What is a tree? Where is my point? So, okay, let this. So whenever I say the 1 GB, so it should comes with first where it will start memory storage. It will start from bytes, then it will go to the kilobytes,
KBs,
kilobytes,
and MB, megabytes.
and then MB megabytes, and then GB, right? And later we will go for it will go up to the TBs. So till we have the storage up to TBs, right? So similarly, whenever I say the table space, it comes with blocks, extents, and then segments. So basically, this is how the storage of the table space looks. Blocks is the smallest unit of the storage, and extents are the collection of the blocks, and segment is a collection of the extents. That's what I written here. So block is the smallest unit, then extent, then segments, then together all these we can call as a table space. So suppose my table space size may be the 1 GB or 2 GB. There will be a segments, extents, and Oracle blocks in this. That's all. And as I said, table space is a collection of data file, right? So the data file located somewhere on the OS, that may be the NAS network area storage or file system or ASM, something like that. It's a physical, these and all are logical. Do you have any doubts in this picture?
No, sir, it's clear.
It's clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then here I've just written it theoretically. Segments exist in the table space. Segments are collection of extents, and extents are collection of blocks. Data blocks are mapped to the disk blocks. That means basically the blocks is the size of the data file. Whenever I say 8 GB of the data file, it's a collection of data blocks. It mapped to the disk blocks. That's all. Okay. Then we'll go practically, bit of practical things today. I'll open the, you don't open. Next one. Will it open? Okay. I have to open the VM. I have to start my machine. Then it will take some time to load. Let it load. Okay, I think it's done. Now I will go to the putty and I'll open the session now. Oracle 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, what is the command to see if the database is up and running? I mean, which and all databases are available in server? What is the command, any guess?
LSI phone LRT.
No, it's to see the contents, it to list the files.
It's prep C.
It's actually process. We have to always identify with a process. So it's a Linux site, it's not a GUI. So for everything, there is one background process will be running. So we have to identify if there is anything running using the background process. So whenever I say the background process, we have to deal with ps-ef grep. Grep is a filter string. Grep pmon. I'll pass the pmon background process whether it is running in this server or not. Okay. Now I'll give enter. There is a nothing running. Only whatever I've entered here, it's showing now. So there is a nothing running. No database running in this server. Now I have to start the database. How can I start the database? I have to export the Oracle home. Then I have to export the path. Then I have to export the SID, which we have discussed yesterday. Okay, so since for a practice purpose, we didn't automated in your laptops, but I have included it in bash profile. Echo dollar Oracle underscore home. Echo is to print the string, okay? And it is a variable. To print the variable, we use a dollar in Linux. We use a dollar in Linux. Suppose like I can say
What do you mean? Sorry to interrupt. What do you mean by echo?
to print the variables. Variables. Suppose whenever I say export some variable equals to a equals to some path I will give or whatever. Some path or some numbers. Okay. I mean sorry. Export a equals to some number I will give. To print this variable, basically in C or Java will give the printf command, printf statement. Okay, but in Linux to print it, just echo $a. If I give the value which is assigned to this variable, it will print. Similarly, whenever I give the echo Oracle home, the value which is assigned to the Oracle home, it will print. It will show the output of that. You got it? Still confusion? Okay. Okay, that's fine. So I've already assigned the value to Oracle home, exported. Then I'll see, let me see Oracle SID. It's already exported to dev. Then I'll give echo dollar path. So here it's already exported my bin location. Now I'll go to the CD dollar Oracle underscore home. I'll go to the location which is assigned to the Oracle home. Then I will see the again I'll go to the CD DBS folder. What is a DBS folder? Where all the databases, whatever the databases are created or installed, those parameter files will be located in DBS folder / CD Oracle home / DBS EWD for a better clarification. In this location, whatever the databases we have created to particular Oracle home, those all databases parameters are located in this location. Clear or any confusion here?
Clear. It's located in DBS folder, DBS thing,
Yes,
right?
folder. Yeah, whenever we give the content ls-lrt, it
Okay.
will it will give the files, parameter files list. These all are the parameters. Init dev is a parameter. SP file test is a SP file. Init dev is a P file. We call. Whenever I say the parameter file, yesterday we have gone through this topic. There are two types of parameter file. One is P file and another one is SP file. What is the difference between P file and SP file? P file would be in human readable format. Okay. Init dev is a P file. So it would be in human readable format. All the parameters you can read. Okay. But whereas SP file, it's not a human readable format. Okay. VI. See, there is something at the rate, something, only few parameters you can able to read. Okay. Only few parameters. So this is the difference between parameter file, P file and SP file. There is a one more difference between P file and SP file is you can modify the any parameter dynamically if you bring up the database using SP file. If you bring up the database using SP file, you can modify any parameter. Suppose your memory, if you want to change your memory, or else if you want to change something, parameters, you can modify dynamically. I mean, whenever I say dynamically, when the database is up and running, you can modify the parameters. Only few parameters again, not all parameters, only few parameters you can modify. Again, few parameters requires the database bounce. Database bounce means database restart. But whenever you bring the database with the in a P file, you have to always bring down the database, then you have to modify the parameter, then you have to bring up the database. There's a major difference between init P file and SP file. Any doubts in this? Clear?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Then we'll start the database. Okay. SQL plus. How to connect to the SQL plus? How to connect to the database?
SQL plus slash as system DBA.
Sys DBA.
DBA, yeah.
So since no database is up and running, it will connect to the idle instance. Idle instance means there is no instance is started, right? No instance is started. Wait for a minute. So are you seeing here? It's connected to the ideal instance, which means no instance is started. Whenever I say the instance, can anyone tell me the what is instance? Is the combination of SGA and PGA some background process, right? Yeah, we have seen in previous sessions. So there is nothing started, no background process has started, no memory allocation has happened. So it's a just idle. Now we have to start the database. So what is the procedure of the start the database? Basically, we have a modes in the startup commands. So our database is currently in this. Let me ping this. Let me go to the paint and then clear. Let me paste it here. So currently our database in shutdown, this state right now. So I have to start up the database. So the startup of the database will go in 3 stages. Listen carefully, it will go in 3 stages. One is, this is the first one. No, first it has to go through the no mount state. Then it have to go to the mount state. Then it has to open the database. Now, what is the difference between no mount, mount, and open is, no mount means it in this state only instance will be started. That's all. Whenever I say the instance, it's some kind of SGA, PGA, and some background process. That's all. Instance will be started. Database won't be available to the end users. They cannot operate the database. They cannot manage the database, anything. It's a just instance startup. So to bring the database to this state, what we need is the P file or SP file. Simply we call it parameter file. So in just 10 to 15 minutes back, I've explained about what is P file contains, what is a parameter file contains. It will contains the information of memory, right? Memory to which amount of memory needs to be allocated, and location of control file, everything it will contain. So all these details it will fetch up from the parameter file, and the instance will be started in normal state. Then going to the mount state, it will read the control file. In mount state, it will read the control file. So what information control file will be having? It will be having the information of database name and its size, and location of the data files, and location of the redo log files, right? So the control files will contain the information of the data files, online redo log files, and the database name, everything. So in simple terms, in mount state, the database needs the control file. To bring up the database in mount state, it will look for the control file. If there is no control file, the database won't come up to the mount state. And still users cannot able to access the database. Still users cannot be access the database, because it's a just know the locations, that's all, because it hasn't read any data file or any online redo log file where the actual data resides. It's a just know the location of the data files, that's all. Okay, then it will be open. The database will come into the open state, where all data files will be readed and all online redo logs files will be readed. If everything is available, then it will come to the open state. In this state, the database will be available to the end users. They can access the database, they can operate the database, they can manage the database. All files opened as described by control file for this instance. Understood? These are the 3 stages whenever I give the command. Whenever I give the startup command here, whenever I give the startup, it will go through the It will go through all these stages. No mount, mount, open. So basically, whenever I give the startup in instance or in database command, it's a combination of no mount plus mount
Plus open.
plus open. So basically the startup will do all these things. Now if I it's a no mount, right? If I want to go exclusively to the no mount state, how to give it? So now anyone tell me, can I open the database without passing through no mount or mount? Can I open the database without passing no mount or mount? We cannot. We cannot, because if I want to the database, the instance needs to be understand, right, where the files are located, how much memory targets needs to be allocated. Without this proper allocation of memory and without the proper information of the location of the data file, we cannot open, right? So simply we cannot open the database without passing through the no mount and mount. The stages is, first it has to go through the no mount, then it should come to the mount, then it should open. See here, when I given the startup, first instance started, which means that it has passed through the no mount state, then database mounted, then database opened. Are you guys seeing this? Now let's see one by one. Set immediate I'll give. I'm bringing it on the database. See, whenever I'm shutting down, it's a vice versa. It will come in ascending order here. Instance started, mounted, open. Whenever I shut down the database, first it will close, then it will dismount, then Oracle instance got shut down. Oracle instance shut down. So basically, sequence. We call it as a sequence. Startup sequence, shutdown sequence. So remember that it's a one more interview question. What is the startup sequence of the database? So first we have to it should go to the no mount, then it will go to the mount, then it will open. While shutting down, first it will close, then the database will dismount, then instance will be shut down. That's all. Okay, now again, no database is running since I already shut down it. PSF rep pmon, nothing is running. Now I'll connect to the SQL plus /s DBA. So now anyone tell me, how can I exclusively go through the no mount state only? I don't want to be database mounted or opened. I have to see whether the instance will start or not. How can I go through it? Let's see how we can achieve that. So if I want to go to the no mount, then I have to give startup no mount. That's all. If I want to go to the exclusively this state, I have to give the startup no mount. So if I want to go to the mount, I cannot directly go to the mount state. I cannot skip this. I have to always go through the first no mount, then mount. So if I want to go to the mount, then it's a query alter database mount. From here, how can I open the database? Alter database open. These are the commands to pass through these phase of the database, these phase of the startup modes. So let's see. Only let's start the instance. Startup no mount. So suppose whenever I give this, if I don't have the parameter file, will it start? No, it will throw the error because we don't have the parameter file where it will contain the information of instance. So to start the database, parameter file is a mandatory to bring up into the no mount state. Wait, it might be allocating the memories. Do you guys understanding or facing any difficulties or feeling it is difficult?
No, understood.
It's a clear, right? Okay, so the instance is started. Suppose if I give anything, it doesn't work. If I run any queries, database not mounted, it will give the error. The same error it will give to the all end users. It's only the instance started in this phase. Now I have to mount the database. Alter database mount. Database alter. Now it is mounted. Now the few queries can be executed. That can be executed by only DBAs. It won't be available to the end users. End users cannot able to query the database. Okay, now I have to open the database. Filter database open. Now any users can access or manage, can operate the database. Okay, now we'll see the shutdown. What are our shutdown parameters we have? So there is shutdown parameters we have called abort, immediate, transactional, and normal. In general, in real time, everyone uses shut immediate. Okay. So what shut immediate will do? It won't allows the new connection. It don't wait until the current session ends. It don't wait the current transaction to end. It will force a checkpoint and close the database. That's all. Shutdown immediate will do. So if I give the shut abort, it's a immediately bring down the database. It won't force the checkpoint, and basically if we give the shut abort means we are crashing the database by our own. That's all. We are crashing the database or by own. But whenever we give the shut immediate, we are bringing down the database in safer method. How it will be safer method? It will force one checkpoint. Now transactional. Suppose if I give the shut transactional, one user is at the time of shut transactional, one user is connected to the database and he is running kind of any transactional like update, delete, or anything. The database won't shut down until the transaction is finished. Until the transaction is finished. That is the shutdown transactional. So, and shutdown normal. So, shutdown normal means it has to be wait until the transaction is finished, and it has to be wait until the current session to end. Suppose I connected to the user session, I have to exit it explicitly. Then only the database will come down. Because so the DBAs will use only shut immediate because they don't want to wait. They don't want to wait here as well. They don't want to wait for transactional to be completed. They don't want to be wait users to be disconnected. They want immediate shutdown. That's all. They don't go with abort anyways because it's a crash. So here I will do shut immediate. Shut immediate. So basically for all this, where is this one? So there is a shut abort, then there is a shut immediate, then there is a shut transactional, then there is a shut normal. So we always prefer this. You can practice other things in your machine. So understood this table, what it means, in which state, how it will be shut down, or any questions? Any question, guys?
No.
Okay. Now let's see the database shut down. I'll just exit it. I'll just rename it, okay, to make it unavailable to the database. Okay, I'll just rename it. And I'll rename the SP file as well. Okay, now I connect to the SQL Plus / SSDBA. Yes, oh man, because the resource allocation is very low in my laptop. Done. So I'll share this document to you guys today, so you can go through this. Okay. Just save it to
Okay, Bala.
and here I'll say file structure and start set modes. So connected to ideal instance. Now I'll try to start up mount. I face the error. Are you able to see this? Couldn't open the parameter file. That means this parameter file is not there in this location, because I've renamed it. And I just make unavailable to the system. Understood? So if we lost the parameter file, we cannot start the database. So what I do is I'll bring back it. Okay, now what I do, okay, now let's SQL plus slash SSDBA. Now it will now I can bring up the database in no mount state. Similar way, if I don't have control files, if I rename it or if I make that unavailable, we cannot bring the database in mount state. And similar way, if we don't if we rename the any data file, or if we rename the any online redo log file, and or if we make any of them unavailable, we cannot open the database. So clear on this? Which modes, which files are required? So here I mentioned which mode, which files are required. So you can go through this and have a I mean, you can study on this.
Okay, Bala.
So any questions so far today? Is this topic clear?
Yeah.
Mani,
Yes, sir.
Narendra, Mamata.
Understood, sir.
Okay. Then there is one more guy called Balaji. Hello, Balaji. We are unable to hear you, buddy. I think you have an issue with your mic. Okay. Okay, then I just want to hear your background or your introduction. So just want to understand your technical position, where you are and things. Okay, that's fine. Make sure your mic is working tomorrow so that we can discuss there. Right? Okay. So keeping me the chat. Okay. Okay. Any questions so far? If everything is clear, we can wind it up today.
No, Bala. I'm good.
Okay. Okay. Perfect.
We'll connect later. Like I'll ping you in
Sure.
afternoon.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay.
After 3 would be fine, right, for you?
Yeah, that would be fine. We'll sit and discuss on that.
Okay, sure, Bala.
Okay, guys. Okay, then. Bye. Have a good day.
You too.